would you do if you were Amish and you were off the farm and you were going to experiment?
Cocaine.
The cocaine.
Just straight into cocaine.
Just
Actually, from what I understand, that the Amish population that doesn't go back to the church has a huge meth problem. So,
ooh,
yeah.
really?
Yep. When you restrict someone from society and then just throw them in,
Of course. But meth?
Straight to meth.
Straight to meth.
Straight to DVD?
It's like the price of marijuana, but the addiction of heroin.
I guess you're getting the most bang for your buck.
There you go.
Hola, niños. No satisfaction. We are not doing meth now. We are just discussing about the possibilities of potentially being Amish and being let out of the gate.
Yep, we are talking about Rumspringa. Yes,
that is a lovely coffee mug that you have right there.
Oh, this old thing?
Yes. Where did you get that?
Why, it was the holiday patron gift.
Wow.
I know, right? Pretty cool.
This might be the worst commercial I've ever heard.
I've looked all over Grandpa Pigeons and Kmart and Target and Venture. Where can I find one of those?
First time chatter, Loud Mom says, I love that I joined and immediately heard shoot up heroin.
That's what you get here.
Welcome him, Tim.
Ooh, satisfaction. Really? We would have hallucinated about Sega coming back.
Ooh.
Well, then,
that's why you get addicted, because you have to keep taking it to keep the hallucination up.
Put it in. I'm tapping the vein, man. I want to do a main line.
Instead of chasing the dragon, you're chasing the hedgehog.
And you will not catch him.
I could just see the disclaimer before the episode this week. This episode contains references to drug use. Over and over and over again.
And over and over.
And over and over.
All right. Well, on that note, let's go ahead and get started. Welcome to Gamers Week Podcast. Like the name says, we analyze the best, worst, and weirdest headlines of the past week in the video game industry. This is episode 191, and today is Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025. I want to make sure everybody can hear Blue and Ryan and myself before we start, because I did shut down my PC over the holiday break. Hopefully, nothing has changed. So if you guys heard that burp, that was not me. Please confirm. Rambowski says thumbs up. Let's go. My name is Donnie G Retro, and I will be your host this evening. But as you can see and hear, I'm not alone. My first co-host is starting his own line of self-help books titled "You'd Be Surprised What You Can Do with a Little Axle Grease and a Tongue Depressor," a guide to climbing the corporate ladder. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Ryan Payne, aka Retro Game Brews. Ryan,
okay.
How are we this evening?
Good, but before Viagra existed, that was the solution, right? It was like a tongue depressor, a little axle grease. You're in that thing.
You're gonna have to be more than a little axle grease. The tongue depressors are rough.
Okay, right. So you trial and error, you modify and you innovate.
Improvise, adapt, overcome.
Exactly.
Now, my second co-host enjoys her spare time by visiting local dentists and making sure their water wands have the right amount of pressure. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Blue Williams, a.k.a. Writer's View. Blue, how are you doing this evening?
I'm great. Thank you so much. I chipped a tooth pretty bad over Thanksgiving.
Really?
And so, that's the reason for my trip to the dentist and the adventures with the water wand. But yes, it's fixed now.
Go ahead, right?
Just go ahead. Just let it out. I know it's in there.
No.
No.
Yeah.
So are we talking like Jim Carrey chipped tooth? Like from Dumb and Dumber?
No, not that drastic. It was just like the corner of it chipped off. So
What were you
snaggly
doing?
there. Sticking something in my mouth. It was a metal straw that I had in my iced coffee, and I went to take a drink and just went right on my teeth.
Ouch.
So yeah.
Who knew iced coffee was such a hazard?
Now,
Be careful out there, kids.
if you're wondering where the joke was, well, it wasn't on the Uncut. That's typically where we get a lot of our material for these things. No, this was on our GWP text chat thread. If you want to step up your patronage for only $69.69 per month, you'll get added to our text thread. You'll find out what hair color Blue is considering, or which new kid Ryan finds irresistible. Or you'll get to know if Donnie made it home without shitting himself after a night at the all-you-can-eat buffet.
I can tell you it's not Donnie.
Aw.
And spoilers, no, he did not.
I had to throw those away. You're a Jordan guy, aren't you?
That's why you got the leather seats.
They just slide right off of it. Easy cleaning. Want to start your own podcast? Maybe an educational book at the Anti-Cyber Squatting Consumer Protection Act of 1999, geared specifically for people who think that buying up domain names for podcasts that aren't even theirs is a really neat and edgy revenge plot?
Roger that.
Roger that.
Very
You'll need a-
specific, but I'm sure it's not a true story.
You think it's fiction?
Yeah, nobody would be that dumb.
I wonder who would author that.
We'll never know.
You'll need a place to host your show. Buzzsprout has a user-friendly interface, great analytics, and resources to help grow your audience. Use the link in the description to get a $20 credit when you sign up for a paid plan. Let's go ahead and jump right into our reviews, reactions, and requests this week. Daryl T says, I actually got my hopes up that the opening trivia question answer was finally not going to be redacted. It seems so promising this week.
So, Blue, are they telling the trivia answer on their podcast?
I was gonna say, well, Daryl, the origin story of the redacted is, of course, I don't know how long you've been listening, but back when we had a podcast called The Elitist was sponsoring us, what the deal was is they would give us a trivia question and we redacted the answer because they then asked the trivia question on their show. But I have consulted after we got this comment, I've consulted with absolutely the best podcast and confirmed that it's not feasible for them to ask the questions on their shows because they record a month ahead of where we are.
Okay.
And so it's just not going to work out. So that being the case, we have decided that we shall sunset the redacted once again.
Hold on. You said we
Play
decided.
tabs.
This is the first time
As in
I'm
me
hearing
and
this.
absolutely the best podcast. You guys were
Okay.
involved.
Okay. I was like, what the fuck are you guys making
Me,
decisions
absolutely
without
the
me?
best podcast, and Daryl all decided that we're going to sunset it.
That's right. She didn't want to hear what we had to say.
Right.
After almost 4 years, you
Huh.
guys should have figured that out by now.
Which gives more merit to the whole controlling thing. Interesting.
Interesting.
Zach says, stay out of it, Donnie.
You're out of your league.
Yep. Just let it go.
Arcade Main says, drinking game. Every time you hear the warp pipe sound in episode 190, take a shot.
Oh.
Gamers Week podcast is not responsible for any consequences of said binge drinking
Nope.
you may or may not experience from playing the warp pipe drinking game.
And we will not donate our liver to you.
Mine's no good anyways.
Exactly.
Yeah, do you know how much those go for on the black market? Keep in mind. And Sheriff Snack says, is Claire Obscura like the Facebook?
I think so.
Blue, you're going to have to explain this one.
Yeah.
Because the game is not called Claire Obscura. It's called Claire Obscure. But when we recorded last week, you guys almost every time added an A on the end that was not actually there.
Oh.
It's my accent.
Oh, okay.
It's our East Coast accent. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. It's Claire Obscure. Okay.
Yep.
I don't know where
Yep.
I got. It's probably in the copy. I'm pretty sure it was in the
Yeah.
copy.
Yep. I agree.
That somebody was messing with us, and now we look like idiots. Thanks, Blue.
Mm.
I don't need help for that. Thank you very much.
Loudmouth says you got that Mario accent. Claire
Mario.
Yeah,
Claire
Mario.
Obscura.
Oh no! All right, let's go ahead and jump into our patron shoutouts.
We couldn't do what we do without the help of our gorgeous patrons. Here are the generous folks supporting Gamers Week on Patreon. And we have a new patron to announce. A big thank you and welcome to La Shorty. They'll be
Ooh,
joining
ooh.
the Pixel Pod family, including Shannon and Luke, and the Ski Ball Daddy, Zach, aka Old Cluster Nuts, Puzzle Butter, Number One Blue, Sick Voice Chan, John Barron, Sassy Sony, Evo Lust, Cyrum, Al Harrington's Wacky Waving Inflatable Arm Flailing Tube Man, Emporium and Warehouse, Mega Retro Man, Gamatroid, Moradib, Michael. Last night, Darth Vader came down from planet Vulcan and told me that if I didn't take Lorraine out, that he'd melt my brain. Lookite. Emo-esque, Bill Tucker. You know, the bleeps, the sweeps, and the creeps. Fruitcakes. I hate it when my Schwartz gets twisted. Pickled pepper. Ducks with thick thighs. Absolutely the best podcast. A work in progress. Bobs and Dugnut. Blues Little Sis. Loud Moth. Retro Blast Pat. B&T Zilla Guy. The Mad Milkman. Seven Castle Forest. Crunchy Kong. Claw Machine Daddy. Frank Grande. Love Retro BTW. Steven Sand. Ramboski. Terry Canair. Don't make me pull this car over. I am the Download Daddy. Hybrid Divide. You Fall Before Me. And Davey PGH. If you like what you hear today, and we really hope you do, please consider joining us on Patreon. Your support helps cover the cost of producing the show, as well as other cool stuff we'll be doing like prizes and giveaways. You'll also gain access to our bi-weekly patron-only bonus cast called Gamers Week Uncut, Patrons with Benefits. That is assuming the boys ever getting around to editing the last 2 episodes. Visit patreon.com/gamersweek or follow the link in the show notes to learn more.
Got called out.
Yes, that controlling thing.
Yeah, there it is again. Wow.
Third time's a charm. It's coming.
I should have my episode that I'm editing done tomorrow.
Overachiever.
I'll be ready to go. All right, thanks, Blue. Let's go ahead and jump into the headlines for this week.
Well, this headline segment is proudly sponsored by absolutely the best podcast, A Work in Progress. Each episode, George and Zach discuss and rank all the best things, and right now they're working through every movie in the Alien vs. Predator connected universe. This week, they've got a trivia question for you. What was the first fully animated CGI character in a movie? Visit them at absolutelythebest.net or follow the link in the show notes. I don't know this one. I think this is one of those things where you got to know it because it's going to be obscure. Bruh.
Is
Understood that. Understood that reference. Not even a guess. You didn't even want to try to.
No, I would guess that it's like the what's the control program in Tron? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
The
that
face?
was that was actually my guess too, because I was like, well, it's got to be way earlier than you would expect it to be,
Mm-hmm.
which is why it's a relevant question. And I was like, it sounds like something. I said I don't think it's in Tron, but it sounds like something a movie like Tron would have tried to do.
Yeah, Tron didn't have anything animated like that. Nothing CGI animated.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, like the first thing that came to my mind was Cruel World. I don't know if you could really consider that as being like CGI animated.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's basically just cell animation in a real world movie. So I scrapped that pretty quickly. For the life of me, I can't seem to think of what movie had some sort of CGI that looked decent. I mean, fuck, was it like Flight of the Navigator or something?
Right.
Well, that's not a bad guess. I will give you a hint. It was 1985.
1985.
85.
Mhm.
Okay, Tim.
Yeah, Loudmouth is on the right track.
It was a night in. I know it. I know it. Oh my God. I know it.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
one of
Oh
my
my God.
favorite movies. Young Sherlock Holmes. Are you kidding
Well
me?
done. That was the first fully
Oh.
CGI, and I did clarify it as like, so no motion capture, fully CGI.
Yeah, fully CGI. Holy crap. That movie to this day stands as one of my top favorite movies.
I've
Never seen it.
Yeah.
Love it. It's great. You should probably give it a watch. It's dated, but it's really good.
85. I do kind of want to see it just because I can't imagine this CGI holds up from 1985.
It's a little rough, but
40
it worked.
years ago. 4D.
All I keep thinking is that it probably looks like that music video from the Dire Straits, you know? Right?
Yeah, no, much
Salt.
better than that.
Yeah, okay.
The knight actually looked fluid when he was like doing this, the swinging of the sword and everything like that. Not all blocky like Dire Straits.
I would say Dune had that thing where like it wrapped around the guys and they would like, like the shield or whatever, and that looked awful.
Hmm.
Absolutely awful. I had never seen a Dune movie, and Blue was like, "You got to watch the first one just to say you've seen it." So I
Hmm.
did, and it's like 3 hours long. And
How
it's
far
like,
did you make it?
probably about 2 hours in. You
Oh,
know,
you're a hero.
yeah, I was like, "This is gonna work out. This is gonna pan out." And eventually, I was just like, "I'm so bored. I have no idea what the hell is going on. This is super weird." So
Yeah, I couldn't
yeah,
really get into the Dune movies, the newer ones.
The newer ones are some of my favorites, though.
They're nice. Hey, Ben Magnet, how we doing?
Yeah,
Not
we're talking bad
oh
CGI.
yes, yes.
all right. Let's go with this week's headlines. It turns out Saudi Arabia will own 93.4% of EA if the buyout goes through, effectively giving it control of the entire company. When EA announced in October that it will go private via a 55 billion leveraged buyout, a consortium of 3 investment firms were listed as buyers: Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, or PIF, Jared Kushner's Affinity Partners, and Silver Lake. A breakdown of the ownership between these parties wasn't given at the time, but according to the Wall Street Journal, PIF will own 93.4% of EA, a gargantuan amount that renders the other stakeholders insignificant. Silver Lake and Affinity Partners are set to own 5.5% and 1.1%, and for both of these, PIF is also a significant investor in their group. In other words, if the buyout passes regulatory and shareholder approvals, the PIF will effectively own EA. The report lists some other finer details about the transaction, not to be confused with the finer things, now public thanks to a filing with Brazil's antitrust regulator. 36.4 billion of the 55 billion cost will be funded in equity, while the remaining 20 billion will be debt. Remove an existing 5.2 billion stake PIF already has in EA, and it looks like PIF has put up about 29 billion for EA's buyout. PIF's huge majority may not come as a surprise to everyone. The fund is famously trigger happy when it comes to buying stakes in the game industry, with tentacles in Take-Two, Capcom, Nexon, and Nintendo, among others. PIF itself is currently running at a low ebb when it comes to cash to fund its investments, though as Eurogamer noted last month, its video game interests aren't really to blame. The chief culprit here would be a futuristic megacity built in the desert.
Yeah, it's this city in which is one street that stretches for miles long, supposedly. And it's going to be super high tech. And it is literally in the middle of the desert.
You're still in the middle of the fucking desert.
My favorite part about this is that when you say piff, it just kind of naturally sounds like you've got a bad taste in your mouth with that smile on your face. Piff, piff. Yeah.
TK85 says, "Oh crap, did anyone think of the new EA slogan? EA Sports. It's inhumane."
Well done. Well done. Yeah, that's a clap.
Yeah. Ben Magnet says, "Oh, to have the ability to put a boo this man gif and throwing a brick at EA."
Boo this man.
Yeah.
So, realistically speaking, Affinity Partners and Silver Lake will not own jack squat.
Correct.
And all of this talk about, oh, we're gonna let EA do that, we're gonna let them do their thing. We're not gonna
No
be
way in hell.
involved. Not when you own 93.4% of the
Right.
company. No, sorry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no way in hell, and it's that's the conclusion that most everybody's coming to once this has come out, because like it says, when the buyout was first announced in October, nobody really knew the extent of the PIF involvement. We kind of still took into account all 3 groups,
Right.
and we were leaning heavily on the sensibilities of the other 2 groups, for whatever that's worth, Jared Kushner's Affinity Partners and their sensibilities. But kind of counting on them to keep things hopefully a little bit grounded, as in, no, like, we're businessmen first, and we're, going to try to recoup everything and still run this just like a business. But now that we know that it's going to essentially be Saudi Arabia's company, with all the associated social implications that come along with that, it's a completely different story. And it will be really interesting to see if this buyout is allowed to go through.
It's just odd to me that a public investment fund for a country is now going to own one of the largest video game companies ever. Doesn't
Hmm.
that just seem strange? Like, hey, oh yeah, you know what? Sweden, they bought Activision Blizzard, right?
That would be weird.
Right? And now they're gonna make you put everything together yourself with like really bad instructions, right? Just like an IKEA
Hmm.
setup here. It just strange to me that that's the world we live in nowadays, right? And we know why they're doing it. It's like we said before, it's like a PR thing, right?
Hmm.
For one, the other piece to it too is that I think uh, Saudi Arabia has been trying to get into like being an entertainment hub. I mean, they have their own golf uh, league right now. They just had this huge comedy tour. They've done wrestling events in Saudi Arabia as well. It's like they want to be the entertainment hub of the East, if you
We're
will.
with it. We're hip.
I mean, you can go visit their futuristic city. Um,
I
can you
guess.
imagine trying to get from one end to the other during rush hour or something?
Well, that's the whole point. Is that there's no rush hour. It's like trains and stuff that will take you everywhere that you need to go, and like it's a super efficient city,
The trains just go back and forth.
back and forth.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
But again, I just that's where like I hope somebody steps in and says this is really fucking weird. Like let's pause, let's pump the brakes here a little bit, right? Um, when another company buys out uh another company, they don't have the ability to legislate uh, or do something of that accord. Like what a government can do. A government can arrest people, hold them, in jail, or even in Saudi Arabia, execute people. Right? There's so many things that a government can do that a company can't, because they are beholden to the laws of the countries in which they live in. Where a country like Saudi Arabia, which to my knowledge is a monarchy as well, can do whatever the fuck they want. So when it comes to their laws and what they want to do, it's
mm-hmm.
literally no holds bar. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds like maybe it's I'm doing the like slippery slope argument, but that also means if this goes through, what's preventing China and Russia and other countries from doing the same thing?
Well, I mean, the if we think about why the Activision Blizzard deal almost didn't go through, it's because many of the governments of the world were worried that it would give Microsoft a monopoly, too
Right.
big of a monopoly on gaming. This may be allowed to go through because it just gives Saudi Arabia EA. They don't own anywhere close to a monopoly. They have a handful of really beloved IPs that, like Simon Astor is saying, well, why not make your own IP, but 25% distinctly different? Make their own Mass Effect and Dragon Age, LGBTQIA free, promoting Saudi values.
Sometimes it's just easier to copy off someone else's homework, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and effectively, so he's saying Microsoft essentially bought their way into the console space because they had enough money. Why
Sure.
couldn't Saudi Arabia do the same? Well, they are doing the same. They're buying EA. You're buying an already established IP that you don't have to build from the ground up. Where if you try to do it your own way, and like you said, without all of the bits and pieces you just mentioned, then you're only I think you might be restrictive to just people within that same geographical area. When you make video games, you have to figure out what kind of game it's going to be, who's your target market for this? And if you all of a sudden start stripping down all of these things and say, well, this used to have it, but now it's not because we don't think that way, you're going to isolate yourself.
And that's the biggest thing is like, what is going to be the balance between the Saudi Arabia like laws and values versus what's going to make you money on a worldwide market?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Restricting, like you're saying, restricting these things is going to isolate you from the rest of the market the rest of the world wanting to participate with your stuff. It's like someone else mentioned in the chat earlier. Oh, hang on, I'm gonna find it. Simon says it's a PR thing. Has any of this actually generated good PR though? Don't people hate the comedy tour participants and the wrestlers
Yep.
for doing this?
For
So
selling out, for going to a company that's, yeah, or not a
yeah,
company, but a country that's still participating in inhumane treatment.
yeah. So I don't if they don't find a way to make this work from both sides, I do not see this investment paying off for them. It's different when, like it says, they have their stakes in Take-Two, Capcom, Nexon, and Nintendo because they're behind the scenes, not dictating what happens.
Right.
So the average person doesn't notice the difference. But if EA becomes too Saudi Arabia, it's not going to work on the worldwide market.
I would agree, and I don't think that would be a good business move on their point. So I don't know if there's going to be a lot of focus. So that's the other like alarmist thing that we're saying. Well, it's going to be. We know that it's going to shift to Saudi. We'll call it Saudi values, if you will. Which, to your point, probably not the best move for them. But still, just to me, it's just odd. It's just odd,
super odd.
right?
It's super odd.
I would love to know the end game.
We'll see.
They're not. Well, the thing is too, like EA doesn't have the greatest reputation anyway, though, when it comes to the gaming space, right?
This is one of the only ways it could have been worse.
Yeah. And not to mention the fact that the current administration seems to be deeply in bed with the Saudis. So, yeah, they're like, it's no problem. But go ahead and let it go through. Yeah.
To your point, they have no reason to block it, right?
Of course.
Because, yeah,
It's
I'm
not
sure
really a monopoly. It's weird, but it's not a monopoly.
Right. It's just weird.
Right.
And this is going to be, and I think we said this last time, this is going to be a wait and see. Well, we said that last time, and at that time, I think we were talking about 50% ownership. Well, now it's 93. So
yeah,
it's still wait and see. It's just, what are the outcomes going to be? But it's still, there hasn't been any encouraging news moving forward with this.
Right.
EA Sports. It's fucking weird. Oh, giving you gold, Jerry. Gold. Next up, GameStop has highlighted its recent payout of more than $30,000 for a rare Pokemon card as evidence that the company's trade-in program offers fair value, while simultaneously admitting the card had actually been worth at least $3,000 more. In its latest publicity stunt aimed at getting gamers' attention, GameStop issued a typically jocular statement on social media declaring its record $30,494.70 payout for a PSA 10 Hollow Gengar was a historic moment for the company. And if I mispronounced it, if it's Gengar, bite me.
No, it's Gengar, but it's not Hollow, it's Holo.
Holo. Bite me.
Puzzle says, oh, really? What card? I'm not a nerd. You are.
There you go. Holo Gengar. Any trolls who publicly claim that GameStop trade-in values are bad are hereby factually and demonstrably incorrect, the chain wrote. Any prior and ongoing objections to our trade values are now deemed without merit and factually invalid, it continued, while then going on to admit that the card had actually been worth $33,883. To be fair, to GameStop, the chain does not hide the fact it paid $3,388 less than what it describes as the fair market valuation for the card. Indeed, the company simply states it handed over its payout upon completion of all required inspection, verification, and compliance procedures, processes which come at some cost. But many responses to GameStop's social media posts have pointed to the chain still having shorted the card's owner and suggesting the card would have reached a higher value at auction. Others have noted GameStop's own trade-in FAQ page states that the chain has a $1,500 upper limit for trade-in value, something that suggests this particular sale is something of an anomaly.
If you didn't know why they were doing this and then read the social media post, you now have no desire, no what's the word I'm looking for? No second guesses or doubts what this is about. Hey, look, we actually paid somebody some money here. So stop saying everything is, $8, right? Because that's a meme when it comes to GameStop. But they just paid a guy a lot of money, $30,000 for free PR, not free, but PR to say, hey, we pay fair market value for your games. Bullshit. Anybody
Right.
who's been in a GameStop before knows what that is.
Just the fact that they felt they needed to put this out publicly just goes to show how bad their reputation is, with decades of proof. I mean, every single person here and listening and in the chat today, I am going to go out on a limb and guess that you've at some point in your life tried to trade something in a GameStop and walked out with pennies from it. I mean, it's just like decades of evidence that they expect is going to pale because they paid for most of what a Pokemon card was worth.
And I mean, yes, this was an expensive card. And I'm surprised somebody came to a GameStop.
That's the next thing, is if you had this card, what on earth would possess you to go trade it in at GameStop?
It's easy cash.
I wonder if somebody had it up on his site or something and GameStop reached out to them and was like, hey, we'll pay you this much. But
Could have.
Yeah.
let us take pictures of it and shit, because we got some things we want to do.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem with this. If you go and try to sell this on eBay, there's so many different things that can happen. Hey, not to mention that you're going to get hit with a bunch of fees that will more than likely equal the $3,000 difference. Okay. So GameStop not giving this guy the full amount, the full fair market value of that. They're a business. They have to make money.
They gotta make money off of it.
Yeah, exactly. Them giving this guy the full amount, it does nothing for them.
Yep.
You also have to deal with trying to send something, an item, a $30,000 item through the mail, through USPS, through UPS, through FedEx, where now with cards, there are rampant thefts. There are workers who know what these cards look like what packages they get sent in, and they'll rip them open, they'll steal them. So there's always that. So going into GameStop
GameStop
is quick, it's easy, it's a way to offload your items safely, get the cash quickly, and be done with the transaction with zero worry.
I think you got to be desperate, though, to go to GameStop specifically. I mean, there's got to be a card shop somewhere in your 50-mile radius of your house.
Right.
True, but those card shops more than likely, and like you said, they probably reached out to this guy. You go to any card shop, they'll pay you like, oh, well, we'll give you 50%. They do what GameStop does with their games, only with cards.
Yeah.
Because they're like, well, we got to make a profit. Yeah, you know what? But I don't want to get screwed.
Well, I will say that GameStop definitely made an exception for this one, because they normally would give you 30% or 25% rather than the 50%.
Right.
So.
That's my thought, is if I had this card, and even if I was desperate for cash today, you could walk into GameStop and probably expect that they would give you a shit deal. So you must have been real desperate. But like T-Ken says in the chat, an actual nice guy doesn't need to keep telling you what a nice guy they are.
Yeah.
Interesting. So Puzzle Better said a lot of card shops will buy things that are only on their shop list, usually posted. GameStop offers on everything. I did not know that.
So GameStop just started doing this trade-in thing where they will take anything and everything and earn with your grandma's ashes. Yeah, we'll give you $10 for it.
Give me money.
Yeah, 5 cents. We'll give you a 5-cent trade-in value.
So
only if they're in New York, Massachusetts, Hawaii, and California.
Yeah, so instead of carting that load of stuff you're looking to get rid of to Goodwill, now you just cart it to GameStop.
So Satisfaction makes a comment. I saw a documentary about an insider in PSA that graded cards and duplicated them and filled the slab market with fake graded slabs. I bet it was
Wow.
GameStop. GameStop recently, and I say recently within the past like year and a half or two, they started taking in submissions for PSA. So people can go into GameStop, fill out a form, drop their cards off.
Interesting.
So many people have talked about how they have gotten their cards stolen, their orders have not shipped, yada, yada, yada. I would never trust a third party. I don't even want to trust PSA. I have cards in there that I dropped off at PRGE. I've got a Ken Griffey Jr. rookie. I've got 2 Mike Trout rookies. I've got a Justin Herbert rookie auto that I've got with PSA currently being graded. Do I trust them? Absolutely not. Anybody in there could have like, oh, I like this card. Let me just take this, and because I know it's going to grade a 10, let me take this other one here that graded a 9 and just here you go, sir.
Right. That's so fucked up. You know,
Cards almost don't sound worth it.
right.
They absolutely are not worth it. They're fucking
What a
cardboard. Are
pain
you
in the
kidding
ass.
me?
Yeah.
You should start working at like Tops and print your own damn cards on the machine. Hey, don't worry, Steve. I got this one tonight. I got a few things. Oh, Honus Wagner.
Hey, how come Ryan always wants to work Friday nights by himself?
Rubbing my balls on the cards.
Oh,
$1,500 upper limit for trade value too.
Yeah,
So,
there's something else was going on with this one.
mhm.
rubbing my balls on the cards. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Right on Ken Griffey Jr.'s face.
Oh, God. Yeah, you like that, Griffey? You like that? Yeah. Yeah. This is for all the home runs you hit off my team in the years. Yeah, come on, baby. Yeah, just take it.
Ken Griffey doesn't deserve that.
No, the kid does not deserve that. Griffey, if you're listening, we love you. I love you. That was just a joke, okay? Don't hold it against us.
I'm sure he's listening.
All right, next up, Microsoft has teamed up with rubber footwear brand Crocs to give us some of the most eye-catching shoes on the market. The officially licensed Crocs have been designed to look like an Xbox controller, meaning they have been adorned with the controller's X, Y, BA buttons and a D-pad, as well as left and right analog sticks and a white Xbox button. On the strap, meanwhile, is a green Xbox logo, which has replaced Crocs' own crocodile emblem. As for price, in the US, these chaps are selling for $80, and if you're interested, you can join the waiting list now. Elsewhere in shoe news, to celebrate the 35th anniversary of the SNES launch in Japan, where it was called the Super Famicom, designer Gustavo Bonzanini created an homage that blends 90s fashion and technology. The Air SNES are a heavily customized version of the Nike Air Max 90, inspired by other gaming-themed sneakers, but Bonzanini's creation doubles as a functional retro console. Holy shitballs. Given the size of the Super Nintendo and the chunky cartridges it used, Bonzanini opted to go the emulation route and used a compact Raspberry Pi 0W. It has more than enough processing power to play 16-bit SNES games using the RetroPie controller that Bonzanini customized to match the look and feel of the sneaker. All of the electronics, including the battery with enough capacity for up to 30 minutes of gameplay, can be found inside the sneaker's tongue. Unfortunately, they're just a one-off creation with no plans to commercialize the design, and I can almost imagine that thing catching fire almost immediately.
Do you really want to play for more than a half hour on your shoe, though? Looking at a little screen on your tongue.
No, it's got
No.
a aux cable out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. It's still, you need a CRT though to play.
You walk in and you take off your shoes and they just smell horrifically. But
Oh
that's
yeah,
the
right.
only way that you and your other friends sitting around the campfire are going to play your Super Nintendo game. I'm going to opt out. No, thank you.
But you know, in the event of a zombie apocalypse, then you can just wear your games with you wherever you go.
You'll never be bored.
Yeah.
Except when you want to play Final Fantasy on the thing and you have to keep going every 30 minutes.
Got to pause. Oh, okay. Got to recharge, pause, save.
Ducks in Disguise says, "You got me. I'm actually former MLB star Ken Griffey Jr. Long-time listener, love your show."
Man, I knew that. But you look familiar. PNG.
I thought you'd be taller.
You fall before me. Say it says Bunzaniti one more time.
Say-
Bonzanini. You like?
So are you guys gonna pre-order these $80 Xbox Crocs?
Just when you thought Crocs couldn't get uglier.
Right.
Xbox. So we have Xbox Boss, but now we have Xbox Crocs.
Xbox Boss should be wearing Xbox Crocs.
Which
Crocs.
one's more difficult to
Xbox Boss Crocs.
say? Xbox Boss Crocs.
Because he got his own special
Xbox Boss
ones,
Crocs.
I'm sure.
Save that 5 times fast.
Xbox Boss
I
Crocs.
couldn't barely see it once.
No. Xbox Boss Crocs. Xbox Boss Crocs. So I'm going to say that the Crocs don't look terrible.
Yes, they do. They're Crocs.
Right.
Well,
the palette is Crocs.
I've owned a pair of Crocs before. They're comfortable. I think with something with a design like this, I'd wear more if it was done with like Super NES, Sega Genesis,
Yeah.
other retro consoles like this, but done better than this. It looks like, I don't know, it looks like a frog with a bunch of bumps on the top of the shoe that you don't want to touch. You're like, that screams danger. It's like, don't fucking touch me. You don't want to do that. That's what this says to me.
Yeah, but can't you lick the top of a frog and get really high?
I don't think that equates here.
You try it first.
Yeah.
You let me know how it goes.
Okay, look at Air SNES. Now I know
They do look good. The shoes, the Air
Yeah,
NES.
those ones look cool. I would
Oh,
wear those.
I love that color palette. The purple
Yeah.
and the
Mhm.
Which is interesting, though, if I could do an actually. If he's celebrating the release of the Super Famicom, but he used the Super Nintendo color
Right.
scheme.
The North American
Right.
Super
Yeah.
Nintendo.
Right.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
There
mean-
was
I'm not complaining.
No, I mean, they look super cool. I'm just like, but why?
there was a pair of shoes that came out 2 years ago, I think, that were PlayStation themed. I
Really?
believe they were like a pair of Paul George PlayStation shoes that looked pretty damn cool, and I would have loved to have had them.
Satisfaction says, I need the Xbox Crocs with my TMNT pizza scented controller, and I will be fully fledged Xbox player. Can we get the pizza scented controller inside the shoes? Right?
God damn, that's a hell of a link.
Right. So
Yeah.
we're talking like, Dr. Scholl's or odor eaters, but it's pizza scented.
Odor eaters, nice.
Oh, no, those are kind of ugly.
All
The
right, yeah, I gotta
PlayStation
s-
shoes.
I
gotta
like
see
them.
this.
Okay, well, I am not going to pre-order the $80 Crocs because I think I'd rather have a full price
Huh.
AAA game.
Yeah, no shit.
Webhead says PlayStation shoes had stick drift and people kept tripping.
Ding.
That's probably why Nintendo doesn't make shoes.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, last but not least, Tommy Tallarico got bodied so badly he's now using a fake name. Oof. Tommy Tallarico. What's that?
I can't believe this. When you read the fake name, it's like, who would choose this as a name?
Tommy would choose it.
Keep going. I'm sorry.
Okay. Tommy Tallarico was once famous for his long-running series of video game music concerts and impressive list of composing credits, but in more recent times, his name has become associated with fraudulent claims and the ill-fated Intellivision Amico. The full scale of Tallarico's career of deception was exposed by the YouTuber HM Bomber Guy 3 years ago, and since then, he has stepped away from the world of video games to reposition himself as a backgammon champion. He's versatile. I like that. It appears that the expose has hit Tallarico so hard that he's now participating in backgammon events under the name Sammy Salazar. During a match at the 2025 Players Cup Miami between Sammy Salazar versus Jay Levy, Reddit users were quick to point out that Tallarico's voice is clearly heard at several points, making it pretty obvious that he's one of the players taking part. Another video from the same event, which was uploaded later, lists the participants as Tommy Tallarico versus Kit Woolsey. This further seals the deal as the name card shown in the footage says Sammy Salazar and not Tommy Tallarico. Additional videos, one of which goes as far back as 2023, provide more of the same evidence. Perhaps Tallarico is spicing things up a little on the backgammon circuit by adopting a stage name, but a more likely explanation is that he's realized his real moniker carries too much stigma, even away from the world of video gaming.
It sounds like a
Salazar.
shitty like lounge singer's name. And next up on the stage is Sammy Salazar. Hello, guys.
With your waitress.
The spicy rock and roll world of backgammon championship was not a world I ever thought about, but I'm curious why someone would choose to make that their thing.
Back alley deals.
Fixed matches,
Right.
Sammy
dark
Salazar.
and seedy backgammon.
You ever played street backgammon?
Jesus.
He's got a scar across his eye.
Right.
Yeah. I will say, at least to give Tommy some credit, the line at the end of this article says a more likely explanation is that he's realized his real moniker carries too much stigma. That's completely speculation. We have no idea why he's doing this. It could be likely because he really effed up his reputation
Yep.
the last several years, like real bad. But he might just want to try out a backgammon name. We don't know that he's embarrassed to be Tommy Tallarico anymore. Yeah, personally, I would be more embarrassed to be Sammy Salazar, but whatever floats your boat.
Simon Ashtier said, I won't begrudge anyone a stage name.
No.
Touché.
Right.
But it seems like very like cliche, right? He's Tommy Tallarico. Now he's going with Sammy Salazar.
TTSS.
Yeah.
Yep.
What couldn't you have done something else? Now you're Quentin Quebec.
Please have Tommy do that accent while he's playing back.
I think we found Donnie's new name. Donnie's new name for the Discord.
Quentin Quebec.
Quentin Quebec.
I'll change it. I'm Quentin Quebec.
Dick Darlington. This is Simon Ashtier.
Yeah, there's so many choices.
Oh my God, Dick Darlington with an Australian accent.
Dick Darlington.
Ryan, can you give us a 60-second breakdown on why Tommy Tallarico effed up his reputation, just in case anybody listening is missing the context?
So Tommy Tallarico was exposed by H-Bomber Guy. It's stemming all the way back to the beginning of his career, but he started off in video game music, moved into development, created this big reputation that he was a star of video game development, and then eventually decided that he wanted to create his own console called the Intellivision Amico, because he wanted to relive his childhood where people played couch co-op. They created this whole Kickstarter. They had these crazy ideas about what this thing was going to be. People kept pumping money into it. There were people who were like stands for Tommy Tallarico because of his reputation, never delivered, and basically scuttled the company behind closed doors without even announcing it. So everybody was left holding the bag except for Tommy.
Right. And not to mention the discord he sowed amongst fans, encouraging infighting.
Oh, yeah.
Pledges of loyalty, and you're either with us or you're against us. Don't ask questions. We'll provide the console. Don't ask questions in the meantime.
And H-Bomber Guy's expose went as far back as to the beginning when he was stealing video game sounds and music from other producers and calling it his own.
It was sampling.
Yeah.
Sampling, right?
Not stealing,
Yeah.
you're sampling.
Right. And then exposed the fact that he has all of these Guinness World Records that sit in his house for like the most audience members for a video game concert and all these kinds of things that are categorically false, but he paid Guinness to get them on a plaque. So good for him.
Great job, Guinness. Guess you got to make the ends meet.
Well, they give records to authoritarian states, so Tommy's a good company.
The world record for most authoritarian.
Yep.
So Rowdy Ryan, that's Ryan's. I'm Quentin Quebec. What's blues? So
The
many
first thing that
possibilities.
comes to mind.
I'm listening. You can tell me later.
Yep.
Thank you, Puzzle.
Oh,
Beautiful blues.
stop
This puzzle
sucking up.
But I tell you what, I might check out one of these videos of the World Backgammon Championships. I bet it's a hoot.
It's a hoot. Do they have the timers like they do in chess, where like he moves it like speed backgammon?
Slide him up there, roll the dice.
I don't even know how to play backgammon.
I learned once and I've since forgotten. I'd have to relearn again.
I just kind of always thought of it as like a game you play when you're retired, but I guess I don't really know.
Because it's like low effort.
Because it's an old person game.
Well, so will Super Mario Brothers. That'll be an old
Right.
Day.
There you go.
One day,
People
yeah.
are like, what's this Super Mario? Hey, I've heard about it, but
You know, like grandpas play it. It's really old. Whatever.
Shut up and get here. I'm gonna do the warp pipe.
The warp pipe.
Everybody take a shot.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into our top 3 new releases.
All right, first up is Marvel Cosmic Invasion out on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. A cosmic battle awaits. Choose between 15 Marvel superheroes in this frenetic action beat 'em up to fight against the deadly annihilation wave threatening the galaxy. From New York City to the depths of the negative zone, the future of the Marvel Universe will be fought for across the stars. Next up is Octopath Traveler 0, out on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Switch 2, PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Start from zero and discover the newest entry in the Octopath Traveler series. Experience a story of restoration and retribution over the Divine Rings, an epic saga that unfolds across the realm of Orstera in this prequel to Octopath Traveler. And then finally, it's been 84 years. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond out on Switch and Switch 2. Deadly sharpshooter Silex has finally caught up with renowned bounty hunter Samus Aran. After an unexpected accident in the wake of their clash, Samus finds herself transported to Vuros, a mysterious planet once inhabited by an ancient race. Scan your surroundings for clues, make the most of your equipment and weapons, and use Samus's newfound psychic abilities and her technologically advanced bike, the Viola, to traverse and explore the environment. Operate mechanisms, control your charge beam, and more. You'll need every tool at your disposal to survive and escape Vuros.
It's Viola.
Not Viola, Viola. So out of these 3, what are you in for, Ryan?
So I'm gonna rip the band-aid on this one and say Metroid Prime. Never played a Metroid Prime game before, so I find it a bit intimidating. I'm not gonna lie. So, curious, but not a must-buy this week. Which leaves me with Marvel Cosmic Invasion and Octopath Traveler. And in this particular instance, I think with Marvel Cosmic Invasion, it looks good. It has at least the vibes for me of like the old X-Men arcade, which I loved. I've got so many great stories of that, but at this point I'm just beat 'em up out, if that's a term we want to use. I'm just getting some of that fatigue for beat 'em ups. I'm sure if I give it a year or two off, that I'll probably have the itch, and this will be something I will definitely use to fill that void. Take that as you will.
Okay.
So that leaves you with Octopath Traveler. I loved the first Octopath Traveler. I've never played Octopath Traveler 2, but the fact this is a prequel is actually kind of perfect for me in that sense. You know, I get a chance to learn a little bit more about the backstory of the lore. I got to be honest with you, I kind of like prequels. A lot of times it's a great way to answer questions that you had about a particular lore when it comes to a universe. Like I remember playing Lufia 2, which is actually a prequel to the first Lufia, and great game. In fact, That game ends right as Lufia starts. So it's I think this is perfect for me, up my alley. Octopath Traveler, great game in general, and it's available on like every platform, so I don't have to be picky. So this week, going with Octopath Traveler 0. Sorry, Zach.
And Zach took that personally. What about you, Donnie?
I'm with Ryan. I've never played Metroid Prime. Even though I own, I think the one for the Switch, one of the ones that came out, the Metroid Prime Remastered or whatever it was. I've never played a Metroid Prime. I've never really fully played Super Metroid for the SNES. I think there was just so much trauma with the original Metroid that I was just like, you know what? I don't really want to do this right now. And I never did. So it's a game I still need to go back and play, but I really don't see anything that's drawing me to Metroid Prime 4. Like Ryan, this leaves me with Marvel Cosmic Invasion or Octopath Traveler. Never played Octopath Traveler, never played any of those games, but the game looks pretty damn good. It's Square Enix. It looks like a throwback to all of the great Square Enix RPGs that we've known from the 90s. I feel like I could find myself playing this one, but I think the game that I'm going to go with this week is Marvel Cosmic Invasion. I love a beat 'em up. I'm not beat 'em up out. I could still beat 'em up. You know, like it's
So for those who are just listening, not watching what Donnie's doing, he's how would we put it? He's downhill skiing.
I'm not downhill skiing.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
beating
difference.
people
It's
up.
more like a shake weight
Yeah.
motion.
Okay, at both sides though. He's
Both
got two
sides,
shake.
yes.
He's got two shake weights. Yes.
There
And
are
the proper
two
form that's up by his face. So
there are two drums right here, and I'm just banging them like this. I love a good beat 'em up. I have not played Shredder's Revenge yet. I've played Streets of Rage 4. Love that game. Love the Streets of Rage series. Beat 'em ups for me is where it's at, and this one looks freaking amazing. So I think I'm going to pick this one up. I think it even came in at like what, $26 or $29 on Steam. That's super cheap.
Vance Velez says he's demonstrating how to play Outrun properly.
Hey, Vance.
That's how he got the Twin Galaxies record.
How you doing,
Using
sir?
the shake weight method.
Yeah, it was. I hacked a U-Force and two Power Gloves, and that's how I was playing Outrun. Blue, what about you?
All right, so Metroid Prime 4. I love the Metroid platformers. I do not love the Metroid Prime series, so you will have to forgive me. I will skip that one. Marvel Cosmic Invasion. I mean, it actually looks amazing. Watching the trailer gave me a bit of arcade nostalgia.
Yeah.
So while I think the gameplay is probably fun, I'm just not a Marvel fan. And like Ryan, I do have a bit of the beat 'em up fatigue. So, that's when I may pick up in the future, may pick up on a sale, but am I going to spend money on it right away? Absolutely not. And that brings us to Octopath Traveler, which I will agree with you guys, most of what you said. Looks great. Traveler 1 and 2 are great games. However, what the description of the game does not say is that this is a console port of a mobile game that is full of mobile gotcha
Oh.
mechanics.
Hmm.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. 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 So, not going to do that one. Not going anywhere near it.
I got that.
Which means that in a lineup that on paper actually looks like a great week, I'm going with nothing.
Oh.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, what a tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
What a absolute tragedy to bring a console game or a mobile port for a console and
Right.
put it up to the same tier as Octopath Traveler.
Right.
Like that's just
Try to sell it like it was intended to be a console game and is not full of gotcha bullshit. Yeah, I agree.
I am sick to my stomach.
Indeed. So you can still play one and two, but yeah.
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 All right, so before we move on, let's take a quick break to talk about our sponsor. This segment is proudly sponsored by the Retro Game Club podcast. It's a fantastic family-friendly retro gaming podcast. And each episode, Rob and Hugh, caught myself,
Oh, it's been so long too.
caught myself. Sorry, old habits die hard. In each episode, Rob and a guest pick 2 games to play and discuss, as well as news, interviews, and other topics. This week's special episode, Rob is joined by Bovine Divine of the retro gaming community to discuss FM Town's Marty, a Japanese exclusive home gaming console released in 1993 by Fujitsu. Visit them at retrogameclub.net or follow the link in the show notes. This sounds like something that would be awesome for a Gaming History 101. Because I am completely unaware of this thing.
Are you going to sample their idea?
Oh, zing!
I think I go into the development history of it and, go a little bit further. But yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious. I've never heard of this thing. And the crowd that we run in, like, retro games are a thing, and knowing the obscure consoles and the obscure titles is a thing, and I have never heard of this. So I'm looking forward to this episode. I want to hear like what games are for it, what happened, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's 32-bit as well. So Sega Saturn.
Saturn. Shat. Who shat
CD
on the
ROM
Sega
drive.
Saturn?
Units sold, a whopping 45,000. So yeah, I'm gonna guess it's a collector's item and really fucking hard to find. All right. So now comes the time I think you've all been waiting for, right?
Oh.
Yep. Get your stretch in, right? Maybe I should play Joe Esposito. You're the best around. So welcome, one and all, to Gamer Week Debates, where we waste time debating topics that don't matter. Tonight's debate will tackle a decade-old playground conflict. Does Genesis truly do what Nintendo don't? My name is Ryan Payne, aka Rowdy Ryan, and I will be your moderator for tonight's debate. Our participants are Mr. Donald Griggs, arguing on behalf of the affirmative, and Miss Blue Williams, talking on the side of the opposition. If you are not familiar, the way the summary or way that the debate will work out is that we will start off with a 45-second affirmative or opening summary by Donnie. Then we'll switch over to Blue, who also has 45 seconds. Donnie will then therefore make an argument for 45 seconds. Blue's going to oppose that. Then Donnie has the opportunity to rebuttal. Then Blue has the opportunity to rebuttal on that. And then finally, we will have closing rebuttals from Donnie and Blue. We will be timing this. 45 seconds is the key here so that we don't ramble on forever. But we are expecting a no holds bar debate today. Civility is not important. In fact, it is discouraged as much as possible. So if you just want to say, yeah, well, fuck you, do it. Now's the time.
We're only an hour and 7 minutes into recording, so I think we can extend this by a little bit. And B, don't ever use my fucking government name like that. If you're gonna do that, then you need to use hers as well. You put Donald, but yet you chose Blue for her. Same level, moderator, okay?
I wrote it.
Oh, well, fuck you.
Griggs,
yeah, don't get mad at me.
You just now noticed it.
Point your ire at Blue.
Yeah, and I changed it. I changed your name.
You're stalling.
All right. So let this debate begin. Starting with Donaldo. You have 45 seconds to open your summary.
What did Genesis do that Nintendo didn't? Sega's claim to fame that it would do what Nintendo isn't doing. Well, what does that mean exactly? Blood and sex. Sega's games had blood. Sega's games had scantily clad females. Nintendo's games had your Aunt Beatrice and your Uncle Artie playing Pinochle. Look, if you wanted to be cool and edgy and appear to be grown up, you played Genesis. I remember playing Mortal Kombat for the first time on the Super Nintendo and feeling like I was robbed because there was no blood. What was that white stuff blasting off of Raiden as I hit him? Sweat? Are you kidding me? Night Trap had women in negligees running around a house full of traps. Hubba hubba. Nintendo did eventually get with the times when Super Smash TV and Mortal Kombat 2 came out to the system.
5 seconds.
Those games had blood, but Sega had many more games that implemented blood and gore. Sega was instrumental in the creation of the ESRB, for crying out loud.
Well done, Mr. Griggs. Blue, it is now your turn for your opposing opening summary.
Thank you, Mr. Payne. In the early 90s, Nintendo controlled more than 90% of the console market by some estimates, but in a few years, Sega did manage to cut that share down to only 65%. Their secret was incredibly aggressive marketing. Genesis does what Nintendo don't, was just that. A clever turn of phrase from the early 90s that likely earned someone on the marketing team a nice bonus. However, as history has proven, that snappy marketing lacked the actual substance to back up its claims. You see, while the Genesis was famously the Super Nintendo's greatest competition, its release date initially made it an NES competitor. Everything was fine while the Genesis was still punching down on its 8-bit cousin, but once Big Brother Super NES arrived, well, we're all old enough to remember what happened next.
5 seconds. Wow, within time as well. Look at that. Bonus points. Then again, you're the one who created the rules.
Yeah, right?
Right.
Controlling again.
Oh, that's the third time, the charm.
Well, one of these days, you guys will figure it out.
All right, Donnie. So let's hear your argument, your affirmative argument. You have the floor. 45 seconds. Timer starts when you start talking. I'm ready.
I will admit that Nintendo did have some great commercials for the SNES. Who can forget our Lord and Savior, Paul Rudd, strolling into the abandoned drive-in, slamming in an SNES game and playing it on the big screen? There's also the Final Fantasy III commercial where a mogul screams out, "Next!" as he's interviewing monsters to be part of the game. And what about Super Mario World 2, where the guy explodes in the diner after eating too much and getting everyone covered in his internal liquid? Now, Nintendo did have some edgy TV commercials that tried to put it up there with Sega. There was one with some loud, grungy music with the 90s dressed teens rollerblading, headbanging, and skateboarding. Essentially, what they were trying to do was show you that, hey, the youth are cool and down with our system, and it's not just kid games that we have. Most of what Nintendo did was cozy and cute, with a few exceptions. Sega had commercials with car crashes, loud musics, and the infamous Sega scream that still resonates with you to this day.
Well done. Miss Williams, you have 45 seconds to oppose or provide your opposing argument.
Yes, the Genesis admittedly had the leg up on the blood and guts. It had the leg up on fighting games. Congratulations. That counts for about as much as when N64 stands point to wrestling games as evidence of that console's superiority. At over 1,700 titles, the Super Nintendo's library was more than double the 900 plus games that the Genesis could offer. True, much of the Super Nintendo library was dependent on region, but as my Sega fanboy opponent mentioned, it was the only place you could play Super Mario World, The Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, Donkey Kong Country, Super Mario Kart, Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy IV and VI, Earthbound, and so many more. It excelled in world-class platformers and RPGs that are still revered and studied and loved to this day. NHL 94 and James Pond just can't quite live up to that.
I will give you another additional point for leaning into the word "for," so that it would hurt Donnie even more. That's the civility or lack thereof that I'm talking about.
All kids games, all of them, all kids games that you mentioned.
Wait your turn, sir.
All kids games.
It technically is his turn. All right, Donnie, timer starts when you start talking.
So let's talk about the add-ons. Where do I begin? When it comes to the SNES, we got a mouse, a piano, and a grenade launcher. Oh, and one small add-on that lets you play your Game Boy games on the SNES. What did the Genesis have? What didn't they have? The Sega CD, the 32X, the Activator Fighting Ring, the Power Base Converter, which allowed you to play your Master System games on the Genesis. Oh, and the Sega Nomad, a handheld portable Sega Genesis that allowed you to play all of your Genesis titles and not just a watered down mini sprite on a dull green screen.
Oh, snap. All right, Blue, you're up. What is your rebuttal?
Sticking with North American dates for simplicity, the Genesis released in August of 1989. The Super Nintendo did not release until August of 1991. So for 2 whole years, the gaming market consisted of the 16-bit Genesis against the 8-bit Nintendo. That's like sending your local high school football team out to face the 76 Pittsburgh Steel Curtain D-line.
Pittsburgh? Who's Pittsburgh?
Even as amazing as the 8-bit Super Mario 3 was and continues to be, it naturally paled against the flash and spectacle of the Genesis pack-in Sonic the Hedgehog. But this was an apples to oranges fight. It's true that Sega found a hit with Sonic, but whereas the Super Mario IP has consistently put out hit after hit for decades, the quality of the Sonic series has been inconsistent, to say it lightly. Is this a sprint or a marathon? Do you want to win the battle or the war? Next time you pull up the Genesis app on the Nintendo's Switch Online service, I think you'll find the answer to that question.
Oh, shit.
Super Mario World, yay. Super Mario World 2, bleh. Pile of dog shit. Yeah, but that's a continued success, right?
I'm loving this so much. I kind of don't want it to end. And so I'm going to give one more round of negative rebuttal and positive rebuttal. Donnie, you're up. Give me one more argument before you close up.
Okay. So now when it comes to differences in games, my argument lies more neutral ground. Turtles in Time for the SNES is far superior than Hyperstone Heist. WWF Royal Rumble played better on the Genesis and also had a different roster, including Hulk Hogan. Have you played both versions of Shadowrun? There are games that have notable differences like the ones above, but there are some like Aladdin and The Lion King, which really come down to just personal preference. At the time, Sega had a much more dominant arcade presence than Nintendo. I'm referring to when the Genesis came out. This allowed them to port some of their arcade classics to the Genesis, like Shinobi, Outrun, Super Hang-On, and Afterburner. Nintendo was no longer in the arcade business as their dominant titles were mostly all ported to the NES. When comparing the arcade titles that were out at the time and ported to the Genesis, it looked way cooler than some 8-bit sprite jumping and hitting his head on blocks.
Nice. And Blue, for your final rebuttal, are you ready?
I am. So while my opponent is a known Sega fanboy and cannot therefore be trusted, he does make a few valid points. Whereas the Genesis had Sonic and Nintendo had Mario. Genesis had blast processing, whatever the hell that was. Super Nintendo had Mode 7 and the Super FX chip. Genesis had the blood code, whereas Super Nintendo got sweat. Genesis got a optional 6-button controller. Super Nintendo had only 4. So in many ways, it was a battle of preferences. Which did you like? Do you like the smoother frame rate, or do you like the better color and sound? However, ironically, the phrase Genesis does what Nintendo don't is even more true today in a roundabout way. Now that it's a third-party software developer, Sega releases its titles on hardware that is not its own, which is something Nintendo has never and likely will never do. I believe most 90s gamers can remember the shock and horror they felt upon first seeing Sonic's face adorning a cartridge bearing a Nintendo logo. Even to this day, it's jarring to see.
You take that back. We're focusing strictly on 90s stuff. We're not talking about right now. You take all of that back. I want that stricken from the record, please.
Agreed. That is stricken from the record. It
Thank
should
you.
be Dreamcast than before. So Dreamcast to SG-1000, GameCube to NES. So I agree. We will stricken that from the record.
It is stricken it.
It has been strucken.
Strucken.
All right. So why don't we go ahead and close up our arguments? Donnie, starting with you. What are your closing arguments?
In conclusion, the console wars of the 90s were amazing to be right in the middle of. 2 companies vying for your dollars and trying to outdo the other one. If you wanted to keep your underwear from being pulled over your head, you chose Sega. If you wanted your grandma to keep giving you smooches and knitting you sweaters with big birds on them, you chose the SNES.
kind of thing of get you beat up.
Exactly. You got that reference.
I did. Well done. Well done. Hey, Blue, your closing argument? You may start when ready.
Sega ceased production of the Genesis in 1997. Yes, it still technically lives on today via Tectoy in Brazil, but Sega's once prized innovation is now a long forgotten memory by the company. Even Sega president Shuji Utsumi insisted just last month that Sega is not a retro company. Nintendo, on the other hand, did not cease production of the Super Famicom in Japan until 2003. That means I lost my place. That means the Super Famicom outlasted not just the Genesis, but also the Game Gear, the Sega CD, the Sega Saturn, the Dreamcast, and, in many ways, Sega itself when the company exited the console market altogether in 2001. 90s gamers remember the Genesis does what Nintendo movement more for the hype it created at the time rather than the legacy it was able to sustain. Unfortunately for Sega, history has already decided the clever phrase simply wasn't enough.
All right. Nicely done, you two. Give him a round of applause. Give him some clap emojis in the chat. Thank you guys for participating. This was oddly civil, except for a few small digs. I am proud of you both. I feel like you both came with really compelling arguments. For me, I would like to choose a winner. And that's me because I didn't have to engage in this. I
Thank
won
you.
today. And you know what? This is great. This is great. I didn't have to prepare anything for today's conversation. This was fantastic. So if we could do this every week, I'd be happy to be your moderator. So thank you both.
Now, that being said, I don't hate the Super Nintendo. I
yeah.
have so much love for the Super Nintendo. There are a lot of great games. I know really who truly won the 90s console wars. I have a love for both consoles, Sega and
Mhm.
Super Nintendo.
I'd like to deduct a point because nobody mentioned the fart music for Sega. So.
I feel like we didn't have enough time, but then again, that is personal preference. There are some games that made great use of Sega's audio. There are tons of games on the Super Nintendo that have like just amazing scores. So that one I think comes down to personal preference.
And honestly, I think we were, when we look back at it, right? Because I was a Nintendo kid growing up, right? Going back and playing Sega stuff, it's like we were spoiled. There were so many great games on both consoles
Right.
that, I mean, it would be easy to choose a side. I mean, I know, Donnie, you like Sega, but you have world records on Super Nintendo games. So, for our entertainment, of course, you pick Sega, but I don't think you would say.
The Outrun cart was Sega.
Yeah.
What's
Sega.
that?
It's a Genesis world record.
Yep. Yeah, I've got a world record on that one too. So I've got world records on both consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're just flexing.
Point being is, this was one of those generations where I feel like it would either option. You probably had a really great childhood.
Absolutely.
So. And more so if you're one of those rich kids who got both.
Finally, not me. Look at that.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap up this episode. Thank you for listening to episode 191 of Gamers Week Podcast, and a big thank you to the Retro Game Club Podcast, Love Retro BTW, Pixel Pond Production Company, and absolutely the best podcast, A Work in Progress, for sponsoring this episode. Don't forget to check out their links in the show notes. If you want to connect with Gamers Week, follow us on Twitter and Blue Sky at Gamers Week PC. Watch us right here on Twitch at twitch.tv/Gamers Week Podcast, where we will record live every Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. Visit our merch store at gamers-week-podcast.creator-spring.com, or if you want to do it the easy way, follow the link in the show notes. And last but not least, join us on Patreon at patreon.com/gamersweek. And stay tuned, we might even have a website up and running soon. Finally, since you made it all the way to the end of this episode, please leave us a rating and a review to let us know how we did. We really do value your feedback. While you're there, consider subscribing on iTunes, Spotify, and your podcast platform of choice.
Well, thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you guys listening and commenting during the debate. I would have loved to include more of your comments during the debate, but I didn't want to kind of like take down the momentum. But thank you all for stopping by. This was fantastic. We love doing this stuff, and appreciate you guys sticking with us, even though we took a week hiatus. So
Absolutely.
But you know what? Thanksgiving was good.
absolutely.
I had fun. At Thanksgiving, not tonight. Not tonight.
Because fuck everyone.
He's very sensitive about the amount of Sega slander he's able to handle at any one given time.
He'll get over it, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's all your personal preference. If you like Sega, if you like Super Nintendo, if you like regular Nintendo, if you like the F channel, whatever. You love what you love.
And we don't console shame.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's true, but
yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for hanging with us this evening. We greatly appreciate that. We will be back this coming Monday with a live uncut. Whose turn is it? I think it's going to be Ryan's turn to edit this one, unless we come back with a playthrough. So
I think we're doing a play.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
It's time for a playthrough.
Okay. I have been playing Egging On, and I've reached a new height spot.
But you're still on the same board. I just want to put that.
Still on the same board?
Meaning you're still in the chicken coop, right?
I'm above the chicken coop.
But it's still the same map that you're on, right?
But it's a new spot that we didn't see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there's got to be more than just one chicken coop. And that
There
being the whole
is. Game. I've been watching speed runs of this damn game, and somebody's done it in like 12 minutes. There's like another level like above the chicken coop and all that stuff. And I'm just like, how the fuck did these guys do it?
You're going places eggs were never intended to go.
Thank you, everybody, for hanging out. We will be back next week. Take care. Talk to you soon. Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.